before we get to the Louis Group, I want to take you back to Bloemfontein, growing up in Bloemfontein. But as a youngster, your first job you ever had?
Well, I was, coming from a generational family. So as an introduction to the Louis Group, we're 100 years old.
Sure.
It was started by my grandfather in 1914. And so, some people think when you come from a generational business, alles gaan net baie wonderlik en alles is in jou skoot in. But my father, when I left school, I finished matric on the Friday. And then the Monday, he wanted me to start being an article clerk because I studied law. So ek het my universiteitsgraad deeltyds gedoen and worked from 8 to 5. And then from 5 to 10, I went and studied. En dan 10 uur moet ek my huiswerk gaan doen. So that was my first job. I was an article clerk at an attorney's firm.
And then, did you always know you're going to go into the family business? You're born into a business, like you said, and it's a generational business, 100 years old. Or was there ever a time that you had other plans?
No, I think the whole thing is I always thought that you need to first go and test the playing field outside and get well qualified. I think that's important, and get wisdom and things. The only thing is, my father always sort of taught us about, look at Johnny the Greek. Johnny the Greek is a person, hy werk van 8 tot 10, maar hy het al klare huis en 'n kar en alles by die ouderdom van 20, So there's a bit of conflict with me. But I'm very grateful that at an early age, I learned one very important thing, and that's hard work. In my personal life, ek weet nie van ander mense, hulle is baie gelukkig, but I've never gone and taken an escalator or a lift to get to success. It's been very hard work. Ek het maar die trappe geklim.
And talking about hard work, for people that don't know the Louis Group, what's it all about? What are you guys doing?
Well,
it's property, there's a lot of different things.
It started with my grandfather in 1914, but it was really more a generational family business where my grandfather's brother came out from Lebanon, so ons is Lebanese. Kan jy nie sien nie? Nee,
no, I don't. I can't see it.
So we actually from Lebanese. And he started in retail, and then my father worked with his brothers and sisters, and then my father took the property side and really started growing that. But we 5 boys, so ons werk almal vir my pa en elke seun het min of meer 'n afdeling. So we in IT, hotels, and we're an international company today.
Sure. And then challenges, because we're talking about entrepreneurship. If you look at the business, what do you think you guys are doing right to get growth and to be still going after 100 years? Is there a success story or a method?
Well, I think, firstly, we've experienced in the different entities huge amount of failures. And that's the one thing that I've learned. It's like in my personal life, I've seen a lot of different seasons. And the nice thing is when, say now the IT company is up, I see the hotels are going through a difficult time. And so even businesses have got their seasons, yearly or seasonal. You kan 10 jaar baie goed doen in properties, and then the prime rates go up, and then you've got problems, and then, so luckily our success, I would say, is really we're entrepreneurial. So when we see a challenge, we put out all the lifeboats and we think creatively of what we must do, because our commitment is, ek kry nie 'n check from a corporate entity, and then, I was just from 8 to 5. I have to leave something over for my children and be proud of what my grandfather did and my father after him.
Before my next question, do you think your children will go into the business?
No, they made it quite clear they're not going to.
They're not going to do it.
But not, I think always I hear from family businesses that children always say, my hulle verander soos die tyd aangaan. But I just hope that God blesses them and leads them, and in some way.
But you just mentioned God, and it's a funny twist that I'm going into now, but I walk in here and I see success. It's a fantastic house. It's in a city I would love to live in. You look like success. And then you immediately said, never just judge me and think I'm just successful. You're looking for something bigger. We spent about an hour now with you, and there's more to life for you than just business. How do you get that balance, and where did that start?
Well, I think each person, I see it in my children, I can't believe we're all made differently. And even when I look at people, I look firstly at their strengths and not their weaknesses, because we're all just so different. And I think my greatest strength is I'm always a giver and I'm a winsome person. So I firstly go and look, how can I be positive and speak life? And And I think, your non-verbal language is more important than what people see. En dit is baie belangrik eintlik. People don't understand wat binnekant is meer belangrik as wat uitelik gaan. So I've always been giving, and wat jy nie weet nie, I was 10 years actually in government. And because it was a great thing in my family one day, and it's a long story, but definitely ek nie feel ek kan nou vertel nie. But one day I came to my family and I said, God has called me into politics. And they said, but Michael, where did this come from? And it's because I wanted to give back in 1994. And actually with Kenneth Meshu, I was one of the founders of the ACDP.
ACDP, I remember it now, yes.
But why I'm just saying that is because I think one of my strengths, God loves a generous person and a generous giver. And I don't know, I think if your viewers understand, if my children one day ask me in the middle of the night, Dad, give me one key to life, I will say that God loves a generous giver, because he will not bless you if you're going to bless yourself. With a bigger house, a bigger car and all that. Jy moet kan uitgee, and the more you give out, the more you're going to receive. I think that's one of the greatest pools that I would love to leave today.
If a young entrepreneur will stop you on the street and say, give me one piece of advice on business, what do you think will that be?
Well, I think they need to first understand who they really are. What are their gifts? What are their talents? What are they passionate about? People often say, great leaders say hard work. Ek weet al hierdie goed, and I think it's all true and all that. But when I see individuals in our company, I'm wanting to know that they're maximizing just who they are. And if they just, I don't know, I just really believe so much that all of us have got the same gifting to be successful, but it's just different. Some people are good administrative. Some people, for instance, I've got a farm, where the women are the people with grapes, and they manipulate the grapes. Maar die vrouens kan baie beter werk met syfers en with knitting, and that's why I just wanted to say, it's the only political statement I'm going to make today, is I'm so excited that Britain is in the hands of Theresa May. And the only reason why is because she is detailed. She's the right woman at the right time. Sy sal nie net kyk na die groter prentjie nie, what's better for the immigrants. She is going to look at the nitty-gritty to lead Britain to be a great country.
So basically you're saying know yourself and find that strength. And if it's business, it's business. If it's not, it's not.
Well, that definitely. And if you don't mind, I know Groot FM, how you people are, but there is a spiritual side that I'm wanting to bring in. And that is, I laughed the other day. Somebody came to me and they said to me, Michael, ons wil jou sien, ons wil raad hê. Ek sê, nee, kom sien vir my. And then they came. I said, what do you want me to do? I said, Michael, ek wil hê jy moet vir my bid, so that you can ask God to tell me what he thinks I should do in my future. And I said to him, I don't mind praying for you, but can I just ask you one thing? Why can't you ask God yourself? Why must you work through me? And that's another message that we need to understand, that there is a gracious God that wants to give the best to you and really intercede and ask that happens.
And then the last thing, especially now with your background in politics and business and being an entrepreneur as well, do you still have hope for SA and even Africa?
I am so incredibly hopeful about this country. It's just, there's so many things about that Africa, from the tip of Africa going to the north and things. But the young people, our success is in the young people of this nation. They need to speak life. They need to earn and take responsibility of this country. We as a generation of leaders I've never seen a great constitution, great leadership, and we're going through a bad season. But it goes in business, it goes in your personal life. My daughter's sitting in Beirut at the moment, and she phoned me the other day, and she said to me, Dad, South Africa is licks. And I want to leave this to the viewers today. South Africa is licks. Grab it with two hands and make a success of it.
Michael, can we please now go see the rest of the house? Thank you so much for having us.
Pleasure.
It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, and all the blessings to your wonderful radio station, what you do.
Thank you so much.